So Google just finished their keynote for the Pixel 10 series, and it was quite a different keynote. There wasn't a huge amount of specs as you usually would get. Instead, there was Jimmy Fallon enjoying his Pixel.
Sensor G5, IP68, let's go, IP68.
But when you come to one of these events, you have a pop-up area where you can see a few demos and you can get to try some of the announcements that they made or didn't make on stage. So this is definitely not a review because that'll come in like a week or so. But what I'm going to try and do is show you a few things that you definitely didn't know about the Pixel 10 series. Oh, and did you know that the metallic G on the back of the phone now, Google has touted as a feature, which is interesting. But let me start with something which is, I suppose, a loss of a feature actually, and it might be a little bit problematic, a little bit controversial, and that is that in the US you can only have eSIM. This is something that Google definitely did not mention in the keynote, and it's the fact that all the Pixel 10s this year, with the exception of the 10 Pro Fold, have done away with the physical SIM card slot. And I know a lot of you are not a fan of this, but for the most part it actually makes no difference at all because you essentially get dual eSIM, so two active at the same time, and according to Google you can then store up to 8 or more. Now I'm not sure how many 8 or more is, but it is more than 8. And when would you ever need 8 eSIMs? Now if you are outside the US, then you can still use the old style physical SIM card, and I'll be honest with you, I know a few people have said in comments that if it was an eSIM phone only then they wouldn't be buying it, but to me it doesn't really make much difference, especially if you're not constantly swapping phones. But I kind of get why some people would just want that physical SIM card slot still in their Pixel 10s, but unfortunately if you're in the US this year, you're not going to get it. The next thing is Thread Radio, and if you haven't ever heard of Thread Radio, then you're not on your own here because this wasn't mentioned at all in the keynote. This is something that actually no other Android phone has, and it future-proofs the Pixels when it comes to smart home controls. Now, Thread Radio is not new tech because it was put together in 2014 by Google, Arm, and Samsung, and what it is basically a low-power mesh network for your smart home. Why it's interesting that it's in the Pixel 10s is because when you tell your phone to switch off a light, it never goes directly from your phone to the light. It's the phone, Wi-Fi, and then the light. But with Thread Radio, it's direct from the phone to the light. So it means that even if you have no data or network or Wi-Fi, you can still control that smart light. And essentially, the more Thread devices you have, the more reliable the connection will be. And this will definitely come to more smart home devices. And with the Pixel 10 having 7 years of updates, it future-proofs that. And like I said, it's also the first Android phone to have it. And while it's definitely hard to properly show you on video, you can go into your settings and make sure that Thread Radio is active. But honestly, it's really pretty interesting. Something that definitely was not mentioned in the keynote was the AV1 codec and capture support on the Pixel 10s. I actually think that taking videos on the Pixels is one of the best on an Android, and it's definitely got better over the past couple of years, and now the new AV1 codec is going to save you a ton of space when it comes to recording 4K videos. Basically, you have to turn this on. It's not set on by default, but you absolutely should go into settings, and this should be one of the first things that you do. The AV1 codec offers better efficiency than H.265 videos, and you're basically getting a zero drop in quality, but it does mean that you're going to be getting 25% to 30% smaller files than H.265. So there really isn't any reason you shouldn't turn this on. And I'm a big fan of this because it will save you a ton of space. The only issue that you might run into is that not all apps support AV1, but most of the major ones do. And video editors like DaVinci Resolve also support it for editing. So if you were to make videos and content on your Pixel, like the Jonas Brothers did, you can then edit that in DaVinci. And again, this is a first because literally no other Android phones are doing this right now, and Google can do it because of that Tensor G5. Okay, moving on to my favourite edition of the Pixel 10 Pros this year, and I'm excited about this because I've wanted it for a long time, and it's the fact now that the Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL have a wallpaper always on display. Now, this is exclusive to the 10 Pro and the 10 Pro XL because they can drop down to 1 Hz, but it won't be available on the Pixel 10 because it doesn't have an LTPO display, so you'd have to get a Pro if you wanted to get this feature. Now, this isn't on by default, so a few of you will kind of like this because I know not everyone is a fan of having that always on display wallpaper on because you think that it's going to drain a load of battery. And yes, over the day it is going to drain a little bit of battery, but honestly only a few percentage, so you're not really going to notice it. I've been jealous of the iPhone for a while for having this, and then the S25 Ultra, and I'm just really glad that Google have brought this to the Pixel series. And just remember, you're not forced to have this on. However, I'm going to have it on straight away because I love having a look at the wallpaper. I think it looks really nice. Now in the keynote, there was a bit of focus on the 100x zoom on the Pro phones, which is definitely cool, and from the little time I've seen with it, this actually looks really good. But for me, the bigger update on that main lens is when it comes to video. So that main 50 megapixel lens now gets double the OIS range of the Pixel 9 Pro, and this is available on both the XL and the regular Pro. Now what this means is that your videos are going to look a lot more cinematic, and this is all thanks to the new Tensor G5 and the Pixel ISP, and honestly, this from the small time that I had to play with it looked really good. Annoyingly, I can't actually show you how good this looks until we get to the full review, but trust me, the video for Pixels this year is really taking a step up. Now that improved OIS is only available on that 50 megapixel main lens, so you're not going to be able to get it on the telephoto, and you definitely can't get it on the ultra wide, and it is exclusive to the 10 Pro and the 10 Pro XL, so you're not going to be able to get this on the regular 10 either. Something that was a bit hard to miss at the keynote was the fact that now all the Pixel 10s have Pixel Snap magnets built right into the back, and honestly, this is something that I am really excited about. It's essentially Qi 2 magnets in the back of the phone, meaning you can now use a whole world of Qi 2 compatible accessories that Google is going to happily sell you. But they did also mention in that keynote that they are also compatible with Apple's MagSafe accessories. Now, I'm going to try and show you exactly how these magnets look, but it's pretty difficult. But you have that round circular magnet first of all, and then you also have an alignment magnet below that, and that just helps you align the accessories properly with the phone, so you know that it's always connected and charging. But there was something that Google did brush over. Now all these phones do have Qi 2, so they can all charge at 15 watts when you use a 20 watt or higher adapter, but the Pixel 10 Pro XL has Qi 2.2. Now what this means is that the 10 Pro XL only charges quicker than 15 watts and actually charges at 25 watts using the Pixel Snap charger that you can pick up from Google, but you need to put this together with a 35 watt or higher adapter. So if you want to try and get the top charging speeds from Pixel Snap this year, then you're going to have to go for the bigger phone because you won't be able to get it on the smaller Pro. So actually you're going to have to just go and pick up the Pixel 10 Pro XL, and also the Pixel 10 Pro phone does not have Qi 2.2. So like I said, this definitely was not a review of the Pixel 10 series. Instead, I just wanted to show you a couple of things that you might not have seen or known about in the keynote. Let me know what you think on the Pixel 10 series this year. Is there enough here to make you upgrade from your Pixel 9 or later? Let me know in the comments because I'm genuinely curious. Now, I will have the full review of these phones coming in the next week or so, so make sure you subscribe for that. And if you do that, then I'll see you in the next video.